At the end of the reading from Paul's letter to the Ephesians for today, he says, "And he has put all things under his feet, and has made him the head over all things for the church, which is his body, the fullness of him who fills all in all." God has put all things under Jesus' feet and has made Jesus the head over all things for the church, which is his body. We, St. Luke's, are Jesus' body, and we work as a function of God's love. He fills all, and our church fills all. St. Luke's raises me and all the other youth up in a community of faith by giving each one of us space to explore and to find and develop the gifts from God that give each of us purpose in the church and the world. For me, that has happened in 3 transitions growing up here at St. Luke's. I first started coming to St. Luke's when I was 5, when my brother Steve joined the choir. I went to training choir and Sunday school, where I have many happy memories of the sunny little atrium and playing with my friends. Though, if you're wondering how my mom ended up as the youth director, it's because I was too scared to let her leave Sunday school, so she would always stay and help out. I joined choir when I was 9, and I loved the music and the people and the uniforms. I hated, however, standing in front of people singing. Every Saturday, I would be filled with dread that I had to go in the choir loft where everyone could stare at me. I was sad, though, when I had to stop going to choir because of COVID. During the pandemic, Steve and I developed a Sunday morning routine very different from our choir routine of making pancakes while watching TV. I made the pancakes, though. He just watched TV. I loved this, so I was not excited about going back to church when my mom got her job. It wasn't that I didn't want to go to church, it's just that when I was old enough to decide, I decided that I liked pancakes more than church. However, different things drew me back: archiving, coffee hour, and helping in Sunday school, and cornhole, of course. Since it's Ascension Sunday, when Jesus goes into heaven and sends people out, I'll talk about my own transformations I've had growing up here. Transformation 1. Out of a crying kid comes a teacher and an acolyte. I mentioned that I've spent a lot of time in Sunday school. I went from being a little kid afraid of being left alone in the atrium to an assistant teacher trying to get other kids to let their parents leave. I love helping in the Sunday school because I get to show the craft, and I have always loved Sunday school crafts. Sunday school kind of primes you to go right into being a Sunday school teacher. No one had to teach me the "be still and know that I am God" song when I started teaching, because I already knew it from singing it with Miss Anya and Miss Becky and Miss Susan. Something I was also afraid of at first was acolyting. When I acolyted for the first time, I was worried that I would get up at the wrong time or put my candle in the wrong spot. I soon got used to it, though. I enjoy the way it lets you be a part of the service while also getting to stay mostly in the background. I still forget to get up in time for the gospel, but whoever I'm acolyting with always taps me to remind me. I help train acolytes now, marching them through the different parts of the service, pretending to hold candles. Transformation 2. Out of an indecisive lightweight comes a cornhole captain. I've been working in the church archive almost every week for 3 years. I started as an intern, learning how to determine if items have enduring historical value to the church. Every week, we weed through papers and items and then file them. Now we're working on creating a database, which is very exciting. As a chronically indecisive person, archiving has made me a bit more decisive. Throwing piles of paper away means you can't second guess every single letter written to the rector during the Great Depression or every picture of the vestry. I also learned that you will regret throwing certain things away. One day, Kathleen and I found a letter to a rector telling him about renting nuns. He could have one nun a week for a lesser amount of money, or 2 nuns multiple times per week for a considerably larger sum. That piece of information that you could rent nuns will be lost forever, and even though it has no enduring historical value, it's hard to imagine coming across something funnier. Another thing I've been a large part of at St. Luke's is cornhole. I mean, what skills does cornhole not teach you? I had no idea how to play cornhole before I started playing at St. Luke's. Despite that, though, I was a team member of the championship-winning Record Wranglers team. The next year, I captained the Record Wranglers again to the championship, but unfortunately, we lost in the final match. This year, I'll be a cornhole co-commissioner. Cornhole taught me to deal with high-pressure situations, email reminders, and how to trash talk opposing teams. All important skills. Transformation 3. I'm ready, sort of, to stand in front of you giving a sermon. In preparing for today, I asked AI, what is a senior sermon? AI told me that it was a sermon given by senior seminary students who are graduating, or a sermon directed at the senior members of the congregation. Neither of these options really fit the situation at all. Though it is terrifying that not even AI knew what a senior sermon was. It does show that our church is special and that we even do this. That Kat gave me this opportunity. When I told Kathleen about it, she jumped in and offered to help. The opportunity to do this is another way to grow, and to grow in a very safe space, because I don't think any of you are going to tell me you hated my sermon, even if you did. At the beginning of the reading from Ephesians, Paul illustrates the idea of finding your gifts from God, saying, I pray that the God of our Lord Jesus Christ, the Father of glory, may give you a spirit of wisdom and revelation as you come to know, so that, with the eyes of your heart enlightened, you may know what is the hope to which he has called you. The St. Luke's community shows us the hope, the service, the way we can belong and help our community to which we are called, whether that's acolyting or Sunday school or the choir or cornhole. So I want to thank all of you for giving me the space and opportunity to discover my gifts. The same spirit that Paul talks about also sends us out into the world beyond the walls of the church, calling us to our greater purpose with the eyes of our hearts enlightened. And in our reading from Luke today, Jesus sends the disciples out. I'm being sent out too, to college, but I know that St. Luke's goes with me. All that I've learned, the sense of community, and knowing I'm able to find my own place. And it's also a place I'll always be able to come back to. Thank you for creating such a good community to grow up in, and thanks for listening to my sermon.